How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. This was a requested deck list for Bagra Army that brings in a little bit of spice, making use of some different cards to just being a full Bagra Army list. Obviously, we get Bagramon in the next set, and I'll be releasing another version of this deck list with the playtesting I've been doing with that. But for now, this is the deck that you've been seeing in all of the Bagra Army videos, and without further ado, let's get on with it. So, to start things off, since we're running this basically just through the cost of what we had in stock, start things off with 2 of the BT9 Pokemon eggs. When attacking, crash 1 to gain 1000 DP. It doesn't come up often, but it is useful for tech that you're going to see later on in the video. And we are running 3 Tokomon. These Tokomons pretty much can be switched out for a Demi-Mirror. You can use them to trash to draw 1, which does come up with the Fruitmons and the other Bagra Army level 4s, but to be honest, the playstyle I like to go for, switch out with the Demi-Mirror if you have. I personally don't have Demi-Mirrors, so I can't. I'm going to start off with the non-Bagra Army units. So we're going to have the one of Digimon. This one is a card that lets you reveal top 3, add 1 Tamer among them, and then trash 1 purple cards. You're setting up the trash, you're getting a Tamer in hand. This deck lives and dies by its Tamers, so might as well get one nice and early. And then place the bottom place the bottom at the end of any order. Reading is hard. I'm going to run 2 Jellymon, the BT10 one. You can run the Floodgate one, but this one gives you retaliation if there are 10 or more cards in trash. You don't really want to see it early, but later on in the game, it's very, very useful for giving every single stack retaliation if you do need to swing into bodies in order to get board clear. There's not much removal in this deck, so retaliation is your main way of clearing boards. And it basically gives you a free swing at security as well, because if they've got blockers on their big stacks, either through plugins or because their archetype gives them big stacks, having retaliation means they have to let it through, which can be the difference between being able to set up lethal early or just if you want to play board control, you can play board control. Then, to proc it slightly early, we've got the 1 Gazi X. Crash top 3 cards of your deck, helps set up Gazimon a little bit earlier, and also helps you get your cycle going. And then, what would be the start of the Bagra Army cards, but for some reason, I decided that this card does not need to be a Bagra Army unit. We got 4 Soundbirdmon, easily the best rookie in the deck. Draw 1 when you place a card under the Tamer, and then on deletion save, same as basically every other card in this deck. Very useful if you have 2 of the U's out. And to find your U's, we will be running 4 Choo-Choo-Mon. This one shouldn't surprise anyone. It's your main searcher. You can grab a U and a card with Bagra Army in its traits. Very annoying when you hit the Soundbirdmon because it doesn't count. But otherwise, grab other copies of itself, your level 4s, your level 6s, anything you need really. As well as hitting the U always feels nice. 4 cost is a bit expensive, but it keeps it safe from Ultimate Flare. So you'll be able to keep that body on the board, and of course it does have saves, so if they do find a way to get rid of it, then you're going plus off of it. That's going to be the end of our rookies. Pretty much every deck that I have runs 12. This one, no exception. 12 rookies, the Elixir standard. And we are going to be running 3 of the Digimon. Some people run this at 4, but for this version of the deck, where it's not fully Bagra Army, we do want this to be slightly lower count. And of course, its effect only goes off when you don't have a U, so more often than not, it's a dead card in hand. Once you've got that U out, which hopefully is sooner rather than later, it's not particularly useful. So best case scenario, you get this turn 1, you raise up in the back with a Soundbird, you play Choo-Choo-Mon, it grabs a U, you Digivolve over the Choo-Choo-Mon for 2, and you get to play the U and go positive on memory. Worst case, you're hard dropping it for 5 to play the U turn 1. Really, that's after that, Digimon, you don't really care about seeing it. You more want to see your Mad Leomons, of which we are running 3. This one probably will go up to 4 once BT11 hits, but for now we're running 3 just because the draw 1, trash 1, usually it is forcing them to trash 1. If they're drawing multiple, then it can be quite useful, but the one that I tend to find is more effective at the current moment is the Troopmon, which we are running 4 of. Just another 4K rookie, same as anything else in the Bagra Army. Any of these ratios could change. I personally am using more of the Troopmon because it is an undead. That's the other thing I didn't mention. This is a mutant. These other 2 are undead, and that will come up later with the rest of our level 5s. but we're actually not done with level 4s. We've got 2 more options to fill it out. I'm running 1 KnTElixar for the Armour Purge, can help a body stay a little bit sticky if you need something to stay on the board and threaten lethal on a different turn. And it's a cheap Digivolution that doesn't require on Digicross or anything like that. And we run 1 Digimon, which just has natural retaliation. If you have to hard drop it, it sucks. It's when attacking. Inheritance is pretty nice for setting up trash early game, and also just retaliation in general without having a condition is always helpful. For A, getting those free swings in, and B, board clearing if need be. But that is now the rest of our champions done. And we can go into the level 5s. I know a lot of Bagra Army lists don't run level 5s, but because of some of our level 6s, we do need level 5 to climb. So we are running just 5. 2 of the 2-cost Digivolution Sandiramons. It's just there as a cheap Digivolve. This is one of the cards that's immediately getting cut as soon as if you have a Balmon from BT10, then you can use those. I actually have some Balmons on the way. But the current list as it stands doesn't run any, and we just have the cheap Digivolution in the back. And you have 3 of the Skull Bellucci. This card is going to stick around for as long as I can make it work. BT11 will be the time that we do say goodbye to it, but for now, this card, very, very cool. You would have seen it in the deck profile, in the Diaboromon match. This card's effect reads, one of your effects trashes this card from hand. If it's your turn, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a purple Digimon with undead or dark animal in its traits from your trash for its Digivolution cost. When Digivolving, if Digivolving from trash, this Digimon gains on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn. Alright, there's 3 Skull Bellucimon. That is the end of our level 5s. Very, very small amount of level 5s, and they only are there because we do have some when Digivolving effects on our level 6s. Especially the Anubismon. This is what really pushed me over the edge to really liking this deck. And unfortunately, it is going to disappear in BT11, but for now, this card is awesome. When Digivolving, you can play a level 3 from your trash without paying its memory cost. All in all, pretty innocuous. But your turn, when a Digimon is played from trash, that Digimon gains Rush. Very, very useful in a lot of matchups, especially because usually your target is Soundbirdmon, have it come out, and then start swinging, get your use set up if you haven't already used the use that turn. So this comes out for 3, as long as you're not passing turn with the Digivolution, then you're probably gaining that memory back and then some if you've got the Soundbirdmon as your target. Otherwise, if you need it for searches or anything like that, it's just useful because it will bring out your level 3s, which basically all have save, and then you can get swinging and start getting some advantage and some memory back. Anubismon really, really cool. Can't fit more than 2. Actually, to be fair, you could go up to 3, but I'm running a 1 of Minervamon. This is basically just being used partially as a little bit of a floodgate, because in the Jellymon matchup or anything like that, when a Digimon is played, you can play a Digimon of your own, which will allow you to flood the board with Chewmons, your Troopmons, your anything that you need to really just set up a presence. It means they can't go wide without consequence. On deletion, play the level 5 or lower from trash without paying its memory cost. Very, very cool. So you don't get the on-play effects when you are playing the Digimon out. That would be busted. But Soundbirdmon, anything like that, anything with that has save that's coming out is going to be a problem next turn for them. So we run the 1 of, and it has retaliation built in, so another way of doing board control. And to round out our level 6s, we have 2 more. Tactimon. I know a lot of lists do run more of these. I run 2, and even when we do get the just improved level 6 layout, I'm still going to be running 2. Tactimon, awesome. If you don't have game, it does bail you out, and I will always die on that hill that Tactimon has saved me so many, many times. And then 1 Blastmon. This one's basically your Blitz Omni for game. As long as you've got 3 cards under a U, this card is coming out. Has Rush and gets Blitz. Swings. If you're actually using it to not do that, then the opponent's turn, trash 1, delete level 4. Prevents hybrid for game because it kills it before the swing goes off. Clears wide boards and just catch it. You can just like catch level 4 stacks before they're ready if they get greedy with an attack. A lot of the time, since Blastmon is for game, people forget that Blastmon does have another annoying effect. And if you've, not burnt everything on a Tactimon, then, or maybe your Tactimon has then brought out 2 Digimon with save and they go back under. As long as you've got 1 left, the Blastmon can come out for game next turn. So, yeah, that's the level 6 lineup. If you're not running level 5s, like you're not running these and you are going full Bagra, you can maybe cut down on the level 5s, get more level 6s, the Tactimons and Blastmons especially. But for now, I was just running something that gives it a little bit more uniqueness. Anubismon is really your go-to. The Minerva, the one of, it shows up sometimes. It's an okay body in security. But Bagra Army is the deck, and Bagra Army are usually the level 6s you want to see in hand. So that is all of the Digimon now sorted. We'll go into our options. Running 1 Revive from Darkness. Use this to pop the Minerva. Obviously, we're not running Cerberusmon, so no Minerva Loop or anything like that. But you can use it to just get some bodies on the board. Maybe you've got an Anubismon in hand, you've got the Sculbalucci, just bring out the Sculbalucci. You can prop save off of this. Honestly, I'm going to cut this for calling for the Darkness. Limited to 1. I don't have a calling on me, so I don't use it, but this is turning into a calling in the next iteration of the deck. 1 Pandemonium Flame. This is your cheap removal. Delete one of your Digimon to catch one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with an equal level or less, and just delete it. So not only can you use this to proc your saves on your lower level Digimon and clear annoying bodies on the board, maybe if they're running Solarmons or Jakuribons, any of your play cost blockers, pop those by just popping one of your level 3s, proc the save, makes it a 1 cost delete. Very, very cool. If you've managed to get up your stack, maybe for Minervamon, that's popping a level 6, and then Minervamon's proc is going to play out cards. If you've got Demi-Meramon in the stack, then you're going positive off of that as well. So Pandemonium Flame, very, very fun. Any restanders do get caught by the security effects. It just deletes any unsuspended Digimon, which is always very funny. But in terms of regular removal, we do have 1 Death the Cannon. If you mill it from deck, it goes straight to hand. So in your missed memory boosts, it can sometimes be a +2 to hand, which is fun. Delete a level 6. If you've got 10 or more, delete a level 7. So pretty decent removal. You run this, it's basically your Gaia Force that sometimes ends up in hand because you can trash it. And that is nearly all of our option cards. The last one will be your 3 Buzzing Fists. Reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Bagra Army and its traits. It is cards, so that means you can add the Tamer as well as any Digimon. And then you trash everything. Then from your trash, you place 1 Bagra Army from its traits from your trash to under 1 of your Tamers, which effectively will make it a 1 cost depending on how the board state is. Unfortunately, this card doesn't have Bagra Army in its traits, so you can't scoop it up off of itself. So if you do search a Buzzing Fist, that is just going straight to trash and you're not going to see it again. Very, very annoying. It and Sandbirdman not having Bagra Army does hurt the consistency of the deck, but can't have everything only. That now does actually end out our options, and we will go into the Tamers. The reason I talk about it being a 1 cost is because you do have the U Amano. Whenever a purple card is placed underneath this Tamer, draw 1 and gain 1 memory. So Buzzing Fist costs 2, take a Bagra Army from your trash, and then you're getting the memory partially refunded. Very, very useful for saying if you see cards that you want under your use in trash early. And the later the game goes on, the more useful Buzzing Fist is, because you'll basically always have a Bagra Army unit in trash. Sometimes early game it can be a bit risky, but if you have 1 target that will come from the trash already in your trash, then Buzzing Fist is basically a 1 cost search that sets up your trash and sets up your hand. This deck dies without you. You have to find this U as often as possible. You will use your Chuchumons recklessly in order to just find him. There's no point even digivolving really up in the back if you don't see you early. You just want to be searching, cycling as much as possible. You cycle if you can't find stuff like Chuchumon, and then basically Chuchumon comes out immediately. You must find this card. Ideally, you want 2. 1 works early game, but even as early as Soundbirdmon can be a +2 memory gain if you've got 2 out on the field, because you'll place 1 under, get the proc, when it dies, get the second one. And it's an amazingly useful card. You go draw 3 cards off of it and gain 2 memory if you've got 2 out, and that's why you want to have as many as possible. You're not really worried too much about Tamer hate, but obviously Tamer hate is a problem. Mostly you're just going as many as possible, because then you can get the once per turn play the cards out from underneath it in order to reduce the cost of any of your Bagra Army level 4s or higher, which allows you to play your Blastmons per game, anything like that. Since each individual one doesn't require it to use the cards underneath it, it does mean if you have to save into any of your other Tamers, such as the 2 SE6 mats that we have, you can place those under them early with the save, and then you can use a U to bring them out from these mats in order to make use of its effect. And Mat itself, when one of your Digimon is deleted during your turn, suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. Pretty much with the aggression that you get early on, sure it costs 2 to play, but within 2 turns it's refunded itself. Always helpful to just get that extra push, even if you can't do it on the exact turn that it does come out. But you'll usually gain 1 back if you're playing it before you start swinging. So very useful card. And we are running 1 memory tamer. We're just running the Kyoshiro. We're not using anything like Kaiser Nail or anything like that. We're just using it because if you hit the level 5s, might as well draw if you can. You can use a hero in place of this in order to give them better staying power, because most of the time you're not trying to have your level 5s die if you've gone that high, because you're usually trying to go into level 6. But this helps with draw power if you are getting stuck, you're not getting all of the procs off of the U and stuff like that. So Kyoshiro is just there as your memory tamer. If you've got the purple mat, use him. But any memory tamer here will do. We're not running any Beelzemon in this version of the list, but I have got one that does make use of the Balmon as your level 5s, and then you run the one of Beelzemon, and then maybe the Iron Marco would be useful, but there's no blast mode in any version of this deck, so pretty much any memory tamer will do. Purple mat is ideal because it brings back the option. Hero is another option to keep your level 5s alive, and I've got Kyoshiro for the draw. I will be doing another version of this list when we have BT11 coming out, so definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because that will come out pretty much as soon as I have that deck in order. And when new cards come up, probably the other side of Christmas, I'll have a new version of the deck, but I probably won't be making a profile based on that. Just watch to the end of the videos where I do have the deck profiles on everything, and you'll be able to see the changes that have been made. For this combo, you'll need level 3 stack, or have already gone into one of your 2 valid level 4 targets for this, either the Mad Leomon or the Troopmon, as both have undead trait in them, which is very important. Swing for the 4K, and in your hand have the 1 Skull Bellucimon, and you will trash. When trashing it, you'll gain the plus 1000 DP, going up to 5, and then your Skull Bellucimon's effect from the trash will allow your undead Digimon to Digivolve for paying memory cost of 3 and continue the swing. Ideally then you are swinging into something that will kill it, or just guaranteeing that the swing will go through, because if this Digimon is deleted until the end of your opponent's next turn, you can delete any Digimon. And this, importantly, is a gained effect, which means even if you're to hit the Digivolve back down to the Choo-Choo-Mon and die, for example, you are still getting that on-deletion effect. So that's why we run Skull Bellucimon at more than just 1. So that's going to be all from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Let me know how your testing goes. Which of the techs were you going to switch out for a little bit more of a normal list? And what are you most excited for going into BT11, where we do get the full power of this deck with the Lilithmon and, of course, the Bagra Army leader himself, Bagramon. I've been Elixir. Until next time, stay safe.